There's a small music store downtown that I've always been interested in going to, but never really had the time. The building was beaten up and had a somewhat crooked sign. I went in the store and what I saw was quite plain. It was a rack of t-shirts for bands I never heard of and a CD rack up near the front counter. I leafed through the CDs until something caught my attention. I saw an Emine CD that I've never heard of. Now, I'm a pretty big fan of Eminem's earlier work. I think his newer stuff is less than decent. But anyways, the cover for the album was just the standard Eminem logo over a plain white backdrop. Only the M at the end of Eminem was almost scratched out, making it appear to read Emine, or however you would say that. The back of the CD was completely blank, with no track listings or anything. Obviously, I was intrigued by what I found, and I went to the guy at the counter who I asked if he had heard of this album. He gave me a funny look, as if he didn't even remember putting the album on the CD shelf. He didn't say a word other than, "That'll be $3." And I went back to my car, curious as to why he would seem so weary over this. But that aside, I was looking forward to hearing some unreleased material. And when I got home, I put the CD into my computer, and it wouldn't respond at first. I did the old split wash trick, and it worked. It took a long amount of time to load up, but then again, my computer's a piece of shit. There were only 6 files on the disc. I guess this was an EP. And 5 of the files were standard audio files, while 1 was a video. The files were not even properly labeled, they were all just a mishmash of letters. I played the first track. It was an intro spoken by Eminem. It seemed normal. He was talking about the struggles of his life and how his father left him at a young age. Midway through, I noticed he sounded quite uneasy, and he was talking faster as if he just wanted to get the intro over with. Bit odd, but nothing really concerned me. I clicked the second track. This was an earlier version of the song Stan, one of my favorites. It's about an obsessed fan who killed himself and his girlfriend. The song sounded mostly the same as the original, but when Stan talked about what he did to his girlfriend, he was extremely graphic compared to the version on the Marshall Mathers LP. The beat sounded really low quality, and I had pops and cracks every now and then. I started to get slightly uneasy. I proceeded to click the third track. Oh boy, it was something. It was a mess. It was basically a bunch of songs off other albums, but copied and pasted to form new sentences. Some of the words were distorted or reversed, and I couldn't quite make out the lyrics. But I think he was trying to get across some sort of message. And he sounded panicked. Similar to the intro. I clicked the next track. I heard popping noises much like the ones in track 2. It was a new song, only extremely muffled so I couldn't understand it. Eminem sounded furious on this track, almost like he was on the song Kim from the Marshall Mathers LP. Eventually it was more like screaming more than rapping, and the song ended abruptly with the loud, ugly screech. Now I was shitting bricks at this point. I was shaken, so naturally I was reluctant to click the final track. I went to watch a bit of TV to recuperate myself. Later on, I felt like I could click that last track. This one was dead silence for about 1.5 minutes, and then a very faint beat played in the background, and I made it out to be a reverse version of Kill You. A little while later, Eminem started screaming in the most panicked voice I've ever heard. "What the hell are you doing here? Run!" He basically repeated this every 15 seconds for the next 2 minutes. After that, it cut to dead silence for about 3 minutes, and then it cut back to him yelling again. He was even more panicked. After a while, it sounded like Eminem was being choked. Coughing and gurgling was heard. The track was 10 minutes long, and I was at about 7 minutes. I immediately closed Windows Media Player, not even thinking about the video file that was included in the CD. About 2 days later, I composed myself enough to watch the video. The video is a different music video for Stan, and showed Stan killing his wife and the corpses after being found in the water. This looked almost like it was taken with a camcorder rather than a high-end camera used in music videos. As I got halfway through the video, I could not bear to watch 1 more second and turned off my computer completely and put the CD back. I did recently find out that there were about 2 other copies of this released. I was searching on the internet while I found someone selling a copy under eBay under the title Rare Unreleased Eminem CD. There were no bids at the time, and I contacted him about it and asked questions. He told me he found it at a local music store, much like the one in my town. He said that he listened to roughly 6 minutes of the final track before getting too scared to continue. If anyone finds one of these copies, please contact me.